Good morning. It's Thursday, October 17th. I'm Connie Melton, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in McKinney, Texas. And I posted this cute little card online, and I've had so many people ask about the product and about how I made the little card, so I thought I'd jump on and give you some information. It's called Otterly Amazing. This is the stamp set. It will be released November 4th. That's one of the beauties of being a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! Is we do get to get things early. Let me show you the paper. It has really cute paper, and part of it is used in this card. It's got the little otters. Of course, it has things like little fish, other little background pieces. A lot of them have the cute little otters, and if you've ever seen otters at play, they're so much fun. We saw them on an Alaskan cruise. Here's one that's a full page picture. There's some you could actually cut out from the stencils and use if you chose, instead of I used stamps and cut mine out with dies. It does have a die set that includes several pieces, including the otters and other little things like fish and ferns. And so let me give you a list, and don't worry about writing all this down, just giving you an idea, because I will post this in the information with the video. You're going to need, I used Balmy Blue because it was close to sky and water, and it made a good background for mine. A piece of 4 1/4 by 3 for this background piece. And then you will need 2 pieces of 1 by 6 in the blue to make the base, the little box, and it's scored at 1/2 and at 3 inches. You'll need 2 pieces of vellum, each 1 1/4 by 4, or 1 1/2 by 4 is what mine are. And you'll just cut. There's no reason to use a die. I mean, you can just freehand cut your waves. I used Balmy Blue again, and brush, and just put a little bit of the blue on there. And you will need to fold that score at each end. Be careful when you're scoring vellum. If you score it too hard, it'll just cut right through it. But score each end at 1/2 inch, and I used tear and tape. I also used tear and tape on these little pieces, the 1 by 6s, because it's going to get manipulated quite a bit. Anytime you're doing anything that's being manipulated a lot, you want to use a stronger tape. So again, 2 of the 1 by 6 blue and 2 of the 1 1/2 by 4 of the vellum. Then you're going to need a piece of the DSP, and you can choose on that, on that one piece of DSP what you want. I chose one where the otters were, looking at each other in the background. The one that we're doing today, it just has otters playing in the background. So 2 of the pieces have just all sorts of cute little scenes. You can go in and pick out a 4 by 2 3/4 inch piece of whatever, has the otters doing something in the background. You also need a 4 by 2 3/4 inch piece for the back, if you choose, to write your message. And you need a 3 by 1 piece for your front sentiment. And it looks like that's about it. Scraps for the otters and the decor. So let's put this together. First would be your base. And like I said, I did put tear and tape on there. So I'm just going to pull that off of each end. Okay. And the way I do mine, I make it to the inside so that you don't see the tape. That's up to you. You could put it on the outside, same thing. But just to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing, I kind of hide my tape. Now, the nice thing about this, when you make this little box, is when you fold it down, it's going to be 5 1/2 inches. So this card, when you fold it down, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it fits perfectly in our medium envelope, or it's just a standard A2 envelope. Okay, so now I've got my little box, my little base. I want to put glue or tape. Either one will work on the back of my larger Balmy Blue piece. I'm just gonna set it in there, make it go all the way down to the base so it's flush with the table. Okay, so now we've got that part done. All right, there we go. And I'm going to put tape on the back of the piece that I chose for my background. Okay. Now I'll just drop that in there. You could do that first. That'd probably be easier. I tend to do things the hard way. Okay, so now you're just going to take your little waves that you made, take the tear and tape off of them. You could get a lot more fancy with this if you chose, but this is pretty good. And each time you add a piece, you want to make sure you're mashing it down to where you're staying with that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'll get my other piece on there. Okay. Sometimes the tear and tape's hard to get off. If you have a problem with that, you can always take a bone folder or something really flat and mash it down a little further. It could be that it's just not burnished well enough to attach itself. There we go. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and mash that down again, make sure yep. All right, so now I have these little pieces sticking up on the edge. So we're just gonna come in and cut those, because we don't want those to show. We want our waves to stick up above it, but we don't want our sides to stick up above. So just cut those down. Okay. And it's trying to stick to my snips. And the last one. Now this is pretty much done, except for decorating and adding our little sentiment. I do have my piece cut. That must be what fell, yes. For the back, but I would go ahead and put my message on there before I attached it to the back. But when you attach it to the back, that's also going to cover up this little band that you had for making that background. So there you could write your message. And you see, you could even, the one I had previously done, I just stamped some of the fern on there. You could do however to accentuate the back. I will put a little piece on the front with my sentiment that says, "You're utterly amazing." Very cute. I did this, actually I did all the stamping of the otters and then the "You're utterly amazing," all of that, and pecan pie, because to me that was the closest to the color of the otters. Here we go. You're utterly amazing. And then you can start taping in or gluing in, whatever your preference is. I think I'm using a little glue for this. And if you put it behind the vellum, you'll hardly see it where it's attached. You do want to ensure that you're not getting your decor past that 4 1/4 by 5, so it will stay in your envelope. It will fit in your envelope rather when you mail it. I'm going to give this one a little bit different decor than the other. Just adding just a touch of glue and letting it set for a sec, and then it'll be dry. I think the same thing with our otters. Do we want them? Yes, I'm going to put him in front of the water. Just a little bit of glue. If you're going to have it setting up too far, you know, above the water line, you want to make sure that you don't get glue up there, because you don't want that glue sticking up. Okay, and then this cute little otter. They are so playful. We'll put it back here so you can see it as well. Okay, so that's pretty quick and easy. I know people thought it was a harder card than it is, which is always fun to impress your friends when it doesn't take you very long to put it together. So thanks for joining me. Again, I will post all these different pieces that you need below. And that's the hardest part of this card, is just cutting all the pieces. There's like 7, 8 pieces to do, and a couple of die cuts. Thanks for joining me.